On behalf of our team at Dr. Damage's Show, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. May this season bring you joy, happiness, and love. We thank all our sponsors, patrons, advertisers, supporters, and viewers. You are the reason we do this week after week. We are committed to doing more in the new year to keep the conversation going. Our ultimate goal is the same: to build a better society for us all, our children, our grandchildren, and our great-grandchildren. We can do it if we keep our eyes on what matters most: transparency, accountability, fairness, and justice. On these pillars, peace plants its roots as it germinates and blossoms. 10 years from now, what you will regret most are those moments when you were so timid in loving others and so conservative in helping others. This is true, irrespective of the possible outcome. For only then can you beat your chest and say the greatest thing any human can ever say: I might have given a little, but I have given all that I have. Sasha! Tweet that out. Merry Christmas to you and a Happy New Year. Until next time, I'm Dr. Damages. I diagnose.
You heal yourself.
Ooh. Really? Welcome to Urgent Care, where we treat matters too urgent to wait for tomorrow. I am Dr. Damages. This special edition of Urgent Care is brought to you by Olarewaju Omo George Foundation, transforming the lives of disadvantaged Nigerians, one person at a time. Please check them out at olarewajuomogeorgefoundation.com. At this point, we can say with great certainty that in a few days, or a few weeks, or a few months, another African man will kill his wife in America. It is an epidemic that has not been tracked or examined. It has happened in every major city in America, and it involves men from every major country in Africa: Nigeria, Kenya, Cameroon, Ghana, Zimbabwe, Uganda, you name it. While we all agree that African men should not be killing their wives, we also know that it's going to happen again. So I know what is on your mind next. What causes it? And how do we stop it? While those are important questions, the most important question is this, that each of us will have to ask ourselves: will I be next? Yes. Will you be next? The next victim? Will you be the next perpetrator? Yeah. I know what your first reaction is. To fear kwa, no cost me. I'll wait for you to repeat it 3 times. Yeah. To fear kwa, it is not my portion. To fear kwa, my God is awake. To fear kwa, it is not in our lineage. Okay. Now that you are done, let's talk better things. So how is your relationship going? I'm talking to you. Yes. How is it going? I'm sure it's excellent. Things are going Paulina, dandy. In fact, it is perfect. Your marriage was one of those made in heaven. You married your best friend, high school sweetheart. You were specially made for each other. Divine favor follows you around. He doesn't get angry, ever. No matter what you do. He cannot kill a fly, not to talk of hurting another human being. He worships every step that you take. You feel so lucky. Of course, he feels the same way about you. You are her everything. Make I ask him? No need. Just come off a road. let's talk to real human beings. Aha. So there are small problems here and there. But that's it. Every now and then, something comes up. But nothing big. No big deal. Who doesn't have such in their marriage? What else? Oh, he's sometimes jealous. Maybe because you make more money than him. Or maybe because you are a lot younger than him. And men keep looking at you when you are out and about. It makes him mad. You understand? Maybe because he still thinks you married him just to come to America. Truth be told, he has little anger issues. But it comes only once in a blue moon. And you know how to manage it. You know how to calm him down. The last time he almost snapped, you left the house for him until he calmed down. You are managing him well. Okay. He slapped you once. He punched you. But he didn't hurt so much. And he promised not to do it again. He begged you not to call the police. He said you should not even tell your family members. He was truly sorry. It was in his eyes. You were sure you saw it, how repentant he was. And you now know that what you said about his gossiping mother was wrong. Oh, and also, he talks down on you. Just sometimes. It makes you feel bad, feel little. He belittles you as if you don't contribute equally to the family. You must confess, he's working on it. It is small by small. Day. Love is one thing. All you know is that he will not get to the point of killing you. You know men snap, but he, a child of God, will not get to that point. Oh, also, as far as you know, he has no gun in the house. And as for the kitchen knives, well, you can run faster than the knives. Maybe. If he doesn't lock the door. Or if he doesn't attack you inside the bedroom. My sister. You want to know what domestic violence statistics in America say? According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, 1 in every 3 women in America will experience domestic violence at one point in their lives. It boils down to 20 people a minute, and 20,000 phone calls are made to domestic violence hotlines in a day. The presence of a gun in a house where domestic violence situation exists increases the risk of someone being killed by 500%. So one experience could lead to death. It is not a game of chance. At 1 in every 3, that means if 2 of your friends are okay, you will be the one who will experience it. Say to Fiawa. I'm sure if anyone narrows it down, the study, to Africans in America, the figures will be higher, a lot higher. Just like Barbara told me, it could be you. Look in the mirror and say, it could be me. That's a good place to start. Now, what are you going to do? Are you still looking for the causes? Are you still looking for how to stop it? What about walking away before the urge comes? How do I say walk away in your language? Seriously, how do I spell it? As for the men, yes, my man, I'm talking to you. I know you are not that kind of a man who will kill his wife. No, you love your wife. It shows in the smile on your face when you take pictures. Anyone who doubts it should look at the beautiful pictures that you have posted all over social media. It is there for everyone to see. You will never hurt a fly, not even a mosquito, not even a bee, maybe a snake, but only if the snake made its way into your house. Then that one will get a baseball on its head. You own a gun, but it's just for protection of your family, or to stand your ground, or for self-defense against your business partners, or to frighten that boy, distracting your daughter from concentrating in her studies. That's all. That's all. It is not as if your wife makes you angry. Okay, sometimes. Like when she nags and calls you names, or when she does all those disrespectful things that she does. But when you're angry, you do yoga. You count 100 before you do anything. You don't remember the last time you snapped. You are a quiet type, but you know that you are like a volcano. You will erupt one day. You are like California with earthquake fault lines all over your core. You will shake one day. Just like Prophet Sylvester and other African men before him. You just don't know what day it will be. You just don't know if the seismic scale will be high enough to shake the last table, a table that will keep you in prison for at least 20 years. It could be you who will kill your wife next. Look in the mirror and say, it could be me. Now, that's a good start. So, what are you going to do? Are you still looking for the causes? Are you still looking for how to stop it? What about walking away before the urge comes? How do I say walk away in your language? Seriously, how do I spell it? Africans, who did this to us? Who did this to us? Hi, Nsubwanago, problem solved. Diasporan family, do you live abroad and have an errand that you want someone to carry out for you in Nigeria? What is it? What is it? Do you want someone to deliver food items to your family and friends? Do you need someone to run to your university to pick up a transcript for you? What is it? Do you want to buy land and want someone to inspect the land and confirm that it actually exists? Whatever errand you want can now be taken care of without any hassles. Introducing Help Me Waka. The reliable and trusted people of Help Me Waka will gladly run any errand for you in Nigeria. Go to their website, helpmewaka.com, and register. You will see a wide range of services that they offer. No more giving out money for one thing and someone will use the money for another thing. No more fear that the one that was supposed to buy food items for your loved ones has used the money to marry a second wife. It happens. It happens. Now, run to Help Me Waka. Register and order. And the good people of Help Me Waka will take care of the rest. When you are checking out, use the promo code DOCTOR and they will give you a $5 discount. I asked them if they could take buy Ghetto Taba, ground tobacco, and gave it to my grandpa. And they said yes. And that was when I said, now them be the real deal. Help Me Waka. Former Commander-in-Chief, each of the 21 gun salutes pinched the nerves of the nation he once dominated. Friends, relations, and survivors of the over 1,000 Ijaw people that his soldiers massacred in Odi, Bayelsa State, dropped a stem of rose at the gate of his presidential library. The people of Benue State, led by General Victor Malo's son, brought 200 cows to his Ota farm, one for each of their people his soldiers also killed in Zaki Biam. Hovering on top of his flag-draped coffin were the ghosts of Bolaige, Masha Hari, Isiaku Mohammed, Obonoya Uche, OGB, and many others assassinated under his watch. Under heavy guard, Charles Taylor kissed the president's coffin. Andy Uba, dressed in all white, followed next. Earlier in the day, the long-time domestic aide had given his body a bath for the very last time. Welcome to Urgent Care, where we treat matters too urgent to wait for tomorrow. I am Dr. Damages. Watching former Senator Buruji Kashamu's funeral reminded me of many more funerals yet to come. Mine, yours, and Obasanjo's. Mine is of no consequence. Yours may be significant. But for former President Olusegun Obasanjo, his will be monumental. As the first military dictator to voluntarily hand over power to civilians in sub-Saharan Africa, a distinguished citizen of the world who almost became a UN Secretary General, the first Nigerian civilian president re-elected in a free and fair election, wink wink. The planning of Obasanjo's funeral started many years before Kashamu's death. At sunset, the yet to fizzle out Zamfara Sharia choir sang Hail the Chief. Bakassi boys, who were providing additional security with Odua People's Congress, OPC, did nothing to stop Amina Lawal from giving a moving rendition of Nigeria We Hail Thee, the old national anthem. Her backup singers were the Masob Orchestra, led by Rafu Wazulike. Isioma Daniels, for the very first time, removed her veil and read the first lesson during the service at Abeokuta Methodist Church. From the pulpit, Reverend Sunday Mbang pontificated about his wisdom, his courage, and his decency. NTA camera caught Abubakar Atiku hissing at each word. In his home in Kaduna, the son of Wada Nas began to write a beautiful satire by imagining his father's beloved friend, Sani Abacha, welcoming the former president to heaven. The outpouring of affection peaked when the representatives of South African business interests in Nigeria arrived. They brought along the famous Zulu drummers and the scantily dressed South African virgin dancers who sang about the president's humbleness, his polite and his respectful manner, and how he made us all feel good about ourselves. The young ladies noted that their presence will make the former president smile, even in his coffin. Somehow, nobody opened the coffin to check if he was smiling. On Radio Nigeria, Bode George spoke of the high purpose he brought to his job, the majesty he brought to the presidency, and the moral clarity he instilled in the nation's leadership. It was such a moving ceremony that millions of unemployed youths paused from watching Big Brother Naija and one by one lined up the streets to applaud his motorcade for the final time. Eba women rolled their naked bodies in the dust, wailing and calling on the heaven to pay. One after another, the Commonwealth's heads of states paid their last respect. Yoweri Museveni issued a statement in Kampala calling him, quote, a man who should never have been born in Nigeria, but should have been born in Uganda. The Bado-based Tribune newspaper published a front-page piece on the legacy of Olusegun Obasanjo. The newspaper spoke to many of Obasanjo's contemporaries. Here are some of the things they said. A man who helped defeat Obasanjo's attempt to change the constitution to get a third term in office said this: Obasanjo will forever live in one mythology. He was the definitive proof of how not to be president. He performed so woefully that if Nigeria were people who valued excellence, they would staple a towel to his corpse so that when he reincarnates and aspires to a leadership position, he will promptly be identified and quarantined. his classmate at Baptist Boys High School, Owo, said, Obasanjo spared nobody of any pretension to civility, so we should spare him no pretension to polite tribute. I can bet my last naira that no parent named their child Olusegun as a consequence of his sojourn at the presidency. A famous poet told the newspaper, Obasanjo's era had no poetry. His days had no imagination. If Obasanjo only stole the cup of invincibility from Nigeria, it would have been pardonable. But he dropped it into a latrine. The adventures of Obasanjo would make for a bad children's coloring book. Then this one from a musician. Obasanjo proved that if you change the clothes without changing the diaper, what stinks will continue to stink. Wow. A former governor, when Obasanjo was president, said this. While Obasanjo spent most of his time in office designing ways to pocket billions, like the kickbacks from the $16 billion he blew in power generation that generated darkness, his wife, Stella, was busy tucking in her stomach in Spain. That's not nice. That's not nice. Several international newspapers published his obituary. At the Sydney Morning Herald, the following lines were part of the lead editorial. It says, Obasanjo's tragedy, like that of so many Africans, was to have admired a civilization whose external trappings he strongly desired, but of whose internal workings he had no idea. He was a product of multiculturalism, African style, and able to use relatively advanced methods to achieve brutal, primitive ends. Like every African dictator, he was Confucian's masterpiece. Written on a virtual tombstone made for him by his side daughter were these eternal words. There lies a man who had the greatest opportunity to be the father of modern Nigeria. But he blew the chance because he allowed pettiness and selfishness to block his view of what his country needed to be on an irreversible path to greatness. The damage his failure wreaked is the reward that we are enjoying today. Africa, who did this to us? Who did this to us? Angels could help President Trump. They were invited. They were directed to go and apply for visa in the nearest US embassy around them. But unfortunately, by the time they got an appointment, it was over. Welcome to Urgent Care, where we treat matters too urgent to wait for tomorrow. I am Dr. Damages. We have a new president-elect in America. Yes! It's over for Donald Trump. Yes, even though Joe Biden won, the man Trump fought a good fight. The battle to make sure that President Donald Trump won re-election was not only fought in Pennsylvania or in Georgia or in Arizona and Nevada. No, it was being fought in heaven. Watch.
For angels have even been dispatched from Africa right now. Africa right now. Africa right now. From Africa right now. They're coming here. They're coming here. In the name of Jesus, from South America, they're coming here.
Yes, angels were invited to come from Africa and from Latin America. Most Africans and people from Latin America found it funny. That is Paula White's Anwansi. It wasn't funny. Paula White was not joking. She exhibited the same unholy and unclean ideas that so many white American Christians are known for. If you like, call it racist ideas. Listen again.
Africa, they're coming here. They're coming here. They're coming here. They're coming here. From Africa, from South America, angelic forces, angelic reinforcement, angelic reinforcement, angelic reinforcement. Fika hata anda ata ora bata rata ande eke manda rasata.
Remember that people like Paula White were the ones who fought a civil war to keep black people as slaves in America. Oh yeah, they were the Bible-clinging, Bible-quoting white Americans. They were the ones who lynched black people when they could no longer keep them as slaves. Yeah, these white American Christians were the ones in KKK who fought to make sure that black kids did not go to school with white kids, their kids. Don't ever forget that, ever. Yeah, they were also the same people who fought to make sure that black people were not allowed to marry white people. Watch it again.
For I hear the sound of victory. 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 I hear the sound of victory.
Paula had sound of victory for Donald Trump. Like I was saying, we laughed at her as she had the sound of victory. What we didn't think about is why she was inviting angels from Africa. What happened to angels in America? Or angels from Europe? Even Los Angeles, as you all know, is the city of angels. Why didn't Paula White invoke angels from nearby Los Angeles? Why does she want angels from Africa to go and get visa from the American embassy and then begin the long journey, long flight to America? I will tell you why. Angels in America ate too much hamburger. The American angels are too fat that they could not run up to Pennsylvania, to Georgia, and then to Arizona, and then back to Michigan quick enough. Jokes apart. In Paula White's mind, angels in Africa had experience dealing with demons and witches. So they would be the best group of angels that could be deployed against the witches of the Democratic Party. Think of it. Angels who have fought Shango, fought Amadioha, even Chukwu Abiyama. They are the Hall of Fame angels, MVPs. Have you seen angels from Brazil or Haiti? They are seasoned too in the act of dismantling juju. The angels from Brazil must definitely know how to dribble the Electoral College. They have hundreds of years of experience fighting notorious demons. Paula.
Strike and 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 strike until you have victory. For every enemy that is aligned against you, let there be that we would strike the ground, for you will give us victory, God.
When Donald Trump Jr. was talking about flooding Georgia and Pennsylvania with lawyers, did he say he will import top Nigerian lawyers to America like these ones? No. He mentioned good old American lawyers. But when it was time to import angels, Paula White left all the places that she considered civilized world and went to places she considered the dark continents to find angels that will fight the dark witches of the Democratic Party. And Africans will troop in their hundreds to go and see the likes of Paula White when they visit Africa. As for Paula, as far as we know, she hasn't visited Africa before. You can see her coming out from a hotel in Rome, holding hands with Benny Hinn, or traveling the world with one of her two former husbands, or with her current husband, the third one. But you won't see her anywhere in Africa, just like Trump. That notwithstanding, Africans will buy her books and memorize her prayer points. African preachers will drool all over her and copy her style of preaching. Meanwhile, she sees Africa as nothing but a dark continent, only good enough for her to harvest hard-working African angels to come and fight for her man, Donald Trump, as he loses the White House. Africans, who did this to us? Who did this to us? Vice President Yemi Osinbajo warned that soon many Nigerians will be discouraged to stand against corruption. Soon. What made a professor of law, a senior advocate of Nigeria, and a man of God to just come to that conclusion when a majority of Nigerians have already given up on corruption? Well, you don't have to look far. He must have been alerted that Punch newspaper had been investigating a 100 billion naira scam committed by a company called Alpha Beta. Welcome to another episode of Urgent Care, where we treat matters too urgent to wait for tomorrow. I am Dr. Damages. The Punch newspaper's investigation of Alpha Beta centered on a company in which Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has a stake. The company is called Simmons Coopers Partners. It is linked to another company called Ocean Trust Limited, which was fingered in an alleged 100 billion naira scam involving Alpha Beta Consulting Limited and Alpha Beta LP. Link, 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 follow the money. I'm sure you know why things are linked and linked and linked in Nigeria. To cover footprints and fingerprints. I bet you Hush Puppy applied the same principle, the same formula. Now, according to the accusation in a 2018 petition to the EFCC filed by Dapo Abara, a former managing director of Alpha Beta, he claimed that Alpha Beta owed the federal government 100 billion naira in unpaid taxes that spanned over 10 years. In the petition, Dapo alleged that Ocean Trust Limited laundered funds for Alpha Beta. Saturday Punch obtained documents from Corporate Affairs Commission that showed that Yemi Osinbajo's Simmons Cooper was Ocean Trust Company Secretary. Link, link, link. In Vice President Osinbajo's 2015 Assets Declaration, which you guys saw, he stated that he had a stake in Simmons Coopers. So, Punch investigators opened a can of worms. The lawyers of Dapo alleged that massive corruption, money laundering, tax evasion, and other crimes were going on at Alpha Beta Consulting. Yeah. They wanted EFCC to quickly go in and investigate. Whoopee! EFCC investigate who? Alpha Beta? Think again. You know the way people believe that money was the content of those bullion vans that went into Bola Tinubu's home on the eve of that election? The same way people believe that Bola Tinubu is the primary owner of Alpha Beta. Alpha Beta got its big contract to exclusively collect taxes for Lagos State when Bola Tinubu was governor. Talking about conflicts of interest. The company gets 10% commission on all taxes collected. What is 10% of over 1 trillion naira a year? What is that? 100 billion a year. That's what they get, 100 billion. Now, a panel headed by then Attorney General of Lagos State, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, now the Vice President, awarded the tax collecting contract to Alpha Beta. Link, link, link. And guess what? Ocean Trust was located at the same building as Bola Tinubu's office building called Freedom House. Hey, they are not even that smart. You know what I mean? Nothing like Hush Puppy. Not smooth criminal. No. Now listen to this. The two shareholders at the inception of Ocean Trust relinquished their shares 2 days after they registered the company. They could not have, just kept them there for 6 months or so. No, but they couldn't. They were too eager to go into business. Wink, wink, wink. So since 2018, the EFCC did not act on the petition against Alpha Beta. Do you know why? Take a guess. Let me tell you. In 2012, a Lagos-based medical doctor, Dominic Adebola, filed a Freedom of Information request for detailed information on all Alpha Beta contracts with Lagos State since 1999. But the State Attorney General then, Ade Ipaya, who is now Oshibajo's Chief of Staff, rejected the request, arguing that the Freedom of Information Act was a federal law and did not apply to states. I'm like, what? Even me, a doctor, I know that. 5 years after, in 2017, a state judge ruled that the Freedom of Information Act was applicable to Lagos State. Even Udoka knows that. Has Lagos State reviewed Alpha Beta contracts since 2002? Nope. Has the EFCC taken action on the 2018 petition? No. Now, when Punch asked EFCC, they said, they could not find the petition. Of course, of course. Don't ever say that the vice president stopped the EFCC from doing its job. No, the vice president is an honorable man. The fact that Olukayode Olanipekun, a lawyer from Oshibajo's law office, moved to Abuja to be the chief of staff of Ibrahim Magu of EFCC, the moment Oshibajo became the vice president, was not fishy. The vice president is an honorable man. The fact that Olukayode changed from being Magu's chief of staff to EFCC's secretary was just a mere promotion. The vice president is an honorable man. Again, Olukayode was just a mere secretary of EFCC. It wasn't as if he could make files disappear at EFCC. No links. The fact that President Buhari just fired the same Olukayode, the secretary of the EFCC, means nothing. The vice president is an honorable man. Africa, who did this to us? Who did this to us?